For more on this story, we're joined now by Francesco Rizzuto. He's the Dean of the School of Law at Liverpool Hope University. Thank you so much for being with us on the program. It's been a while that I haven't spoken to you about this very important crisis that we're seeing unfold, especially in Europe. Let's start off with the pros and cons of this agreement. I mean, human rights is a major issue, security also a major issue. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are simple, really. That this has been a long time in coming. It's taken 3 years plus to finally arrive at this point. And remember, the journey is not quite finished. The Parliament has still got to formally agree, vote on it, as has the Council. Though the awkward squad, if you like, the Poles and the Hungarians and perhaps the Slovakians can be outvoted now. That My thoughts are that really that it's the missing elements that we have no control over that are the important elements. Um, I'm not so concerned in the way NGOs are that people's fundamental rights will not be protected. I think that the whole process is about speeding up what happens when people arrive at the EU's frontiers. The missing bits are what happens to those people who are not going to be allowed in. Do we have returns agreements? Not really. Is that going to be left to the member states, notwithstanding a European coordinator? There are many bits that are missing. But fundamentally, look, what this is about is the centre and the left in Europe trying to shore up their support by finally agreeing a policy that appears to be tough on irregular migration. But of course, when we have irregular migration, it tends to shroud the fact that we have economic migrants, irregular, and then we have refugees who clearly come in irregularly, but you have to distinguish between the two in your procedures. So it's a step forward if you don't want the far right to win in Europe. And I think that's an important consideration that NGOs must bear in mind. Worrying about certain things is important, but do we really want the far right to dominate the European Parliament? Because the rights of migrants and refugees would be far, far worse if they were in power.
What about the unity of the European Union? Do you think that this agreement is going to unite the bloc that was very much divided on the issue of migration?
I think it will. I think it will simply because there has been a change of government in Poland, though remember, legally at least, the European Union had already agreed much of the policy that member states had. They couldn't be outvoted anymore. Though obviously, you don't want people to be unhappy about the agreement. But of course, the change in Poland has facilitated that process. I think everybody's now happy that the frontier states remain the frontier states. The frontier states will be the states that will have to do the processing, if you like. They will be the frontier. They will be the procedural frontier. They will be the border. Of course, the northern states now accept that they have to pay. If they don't accept, I think up to 30,000, or they will have to pay to help the frontier states develop their infrastructure. But if you like, that's only half of the story. Europe will be more united than it has been. We finally have in place a legally reasonably coherent internal approach to dealing with what happens at the frontier. What we don't have, and I think will be extremely difficult to agree, is what happens in the states from which these people come. Are we going to seriously offload migrants to Tunisia or Egypt, or, as we are already doing, paying Turkey to deal with nearly 1 million Syrian immigrants? Again, that's only half a solution.
Right, it's going to be interesting to see how this agreement plays out. As you mentioned, a lot is not being addressed. Francesco Rizzuto, thank you so much for being with us here on the NewsHour and sharing that analysis with us. I appreciate it.